Hey everyone, let me just preface this. There's going to be no footage here or anything like that. It's just going to be me talking to the camera. So if you want to just listen while you're doing whatever you're doing, that's perfectly okay. But I just wanted to preface that so you know what this video is, because it's just going to be a discussion. Because yesterday while I was streaming, something happened and it kind of really ruined the stream for me, and it kind of, set things into perspective on just how I am viewed in the CC industry when it comes to the console side of things. Now, yesterday, a certain content creator came into my stream and tried to poach my co-host while I was streaming, which was highly disrespectful while we were doing it. Now, my co-host, Chili, decided not to be rude and tried to engage in a limited way. And of course, this led to other things, and my moderators cleaned it up very, very quickly. So that content creator, who is an Xbox content creator, because, God forbid, no one on the PlayStation side would ever do such a thing, even if Chili is actually a PlayStation fanboy, pretty much a really diehard fanboy, they wouldn't do that. But this just showed how little the Xbox side actually think of me and how they view me. That they're willing to come onto an Xbox podcast and actually try and poach a PlayStation fanboy because he's actually fair when it comes to his criticisms on both Xbox and PlayStation, with no invitation to an actual Xbox guy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to act self-entitled here. That's not what this video is all about. This video is all about the common courtesy and the unspoken rule where you don't go into someone else's stream and start advertising someone else's, your own stream without the streamer's consent. Or you don't go in and start saying stuff without the streamer's consent. There's a certain unspoken rule that you just don't do. And as a content creator, you are supposed to be above this because it's a network. It's a network that I've generally been left out of. And yesterday proved, that I have been kind of excluded from that circle. And I know why I've been excluded. It's basically been because I don't shill for Xbox like these guys do. I don't worship Xbox like these guys do. Right? These guys worship and shill and talk about Xbox like their life depends on it. Don't get me wrong, I am an Xbox fan. I've never denied this. I've been on Puerto Rock stream, I've been on King Fresh's stream, and do you know what? They've actually been really good streams. Demo Flow has had me on there a number of times. Shout out to him. Really cool guy. Right? But at no point did anyone make me feel uncomfortable. Even on the PlayStation side, they actually appreciated the discussions I was having. They might not have agreed with it, but that's irrelevant. But you don't go into someone else's stream and do that. And it clicked onto me yesterday that I've been just kind of throwing it out there regularly that these people don't like me because I literally don't worship the same ideals that they do. I don't turn around and say that everything Xbox does is the best thing since sliced bread. Putting games on PlayStation, these guys were literally talking about exclusivity not that long ago, this game is exclusive to Xbox, that game is exclusive to Xbox. And now they're like puppets, and Phil Spencer is the puppeteer. He's literally controlling them like Freddy Krueger controlled the minions in the, Freddy's Nightmare. If Phil Spencer says exclusives are bad, 24 hours later, it's all bad. If Phil Spencer made some bogus claim that this was the next best thing for Xbox, do you know what? They would follow in line and push that agenda like there's no tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not going to name any names, but that person who entered my stream yesterday, he absolutely knows what he did. And it's a he, right? There isn't many, I don't think there's many female Xbox content creators. But the point I'm making here is, I don't shill in that way. If Xbox screws up, I will say Xbox screws up. Putting games on PlayStation was never something I was happy with. right? Period. I've always maintained that. I've said that in any podcast that I've been to, even Demoflow, so he can come out and tell you that even when they were talking about this means more games for thing, I was still arguing against it because that's my personal opinion and I'm not a sellout. And that's the problem. And so because I'm not a sellout, it does feel like I'm being ganged on at the moment by these creators to basically be eradicated. But this just motivates me to keep on going and just pushing and then just making better content, more talking points. And, you know, the way I see it, what happened yesterday solidified something very, very straightforward to me. That what these people did, what this person did, was full on being an arsehole. And I will say that openly. And if they get upset with it, I literally don't care. Because what they did was pretty pathetic. There is an unspoken rule that you don't do between content creators. And they completely disregarded that by jumping on my show. They could have DM'd me and said, hey, we really like that person on your stream. Could you pass on their details? And I would have happily done that. Right? I've got, you know, I don't own the guy. But no, they came into my show and tried to poach it while I was live on air. That is some dick move right there. But it kind of solidifies the whole thing, right? I've been saying for a while that the Xbox community, not my community, because my community is there because I don't shill one way or another. I've got PlayStation fans in my stream. I've got Xbox fans in my stream. I have, I think, one Nintendo fan in my stream. But generally, it's more Xbox orientated. But overall, everyone that's in my stream knows who I am, what I stand for, and what I believe in. If a game is good, I'm not going to sit there and say it's crap just because it's on Nintendo or just because it's on PlayStation. I'm just not going to do that. Period. I've not done it before, and I'm not going to do it now. And I've argued with people on my stream who are, you know, diehard Xbox fans who came on and started saying this game is bad, that game is bad, because, I mean, primarily being the reason that it's a PlayStation game or a PlayStation timed exclusive or a PlayStation exclusive. And I've played those games, and I say no, because in my opinion, they are decent games, or they are good games. Like Stellar Blade, for example. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make me a bad person. And the way I'm being painted, I mean, I used to be in some of these Discords before I was exiled from them, and I could see these people talking about me actively in those Discords, right? Actively talking behind my back, thinking I don't see it. And I was seeing it. And I haven't said something for a long time. And I kept on just pushing it aside and saying, do you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm the better person. But what happened yesterday was a bit too far. And that's why I'm making this video. Because I've had enough. Enough's enough. You lot want to talk about me behind my back. You lot want to start, you know, coming into my stream and start being an absolute dickhead. Well, that's fine. But I'm not the one shilling over Xbox. Shilling over every bad decision. I'm not the one that is sucking up every single last drop of what Phil Spencer does. Right? That's you guys. And that's what differentiates you and me. I don't do that. I never will do that. I'm not a sellout. But you guys are. I mean, the majority of you play on PC anyway, so you've already sold out on Xbox. But you still support Xbox, but, you know, you're all playing on PC, right? So you're not actually supporting Xbox anymore. You're supporting Game Pass, which isn't Xbox. It's a separate thing. Because that's now become the brand. Because Xbox's thing. Taken a step down, like I said yesterday. Xbox is no longer at the top of the cornerstone. Game Pass is at the top, and everything else is underneath. And don't get me wrong, I think Game Pass is a fantastic service. I don't care what any PlayStation fan says or Nintendo fan says. It's a great service. It saves me hundreds and hundreds of pounds this year alone. Way more than I've paid for the Game Pass yearly service. Like, the money I've saved this year alone pretty much paid for this year's and next year's and potentially the following year's Game Pass as well, or it will do by the end of the year. That's just this year. Right? So I'm not sitting here and saying Game Pass is bad. I think Game Pass is great. It comes with its caveats. But I am not going to accept what happened yesterday happening again. Not a chance in hell. And if it happens again, at that point, that is when I am going to start naming and shaming. And I am going to put out the receipts. Because I've been quiet for a long time. I know the community has been, pretty much turning their back to me, and that's okay. I've been making my content, doing what I can do, and I've seen my numbers dropping. That's okay. That's not a problem. There's always other ways to make content. I've seen my stream numbers dropping, and I'm still not that fussed about it. Because the people that turn up are actually turning up for me and my opinion and my views. And they want to have those discussions with me. And I appreciate that. But do not come into my stream again and do what you did last night. That was disrespectful. That was unethical. And it was just disgusting behavior. I wanted to get this off my chest because I think it's about time that I finally spoke out. I am an Xbox fan. I am not an Xbox fanboy, but I am an Xbox fan. And I've supported Xbox all the way through. From the OG, to the 360, to the Xbox One, and the Series S and X. So no one can tell me that I'm not an Xbox fan. But the reality is, I'm not an Xbox shill. And honestly, Microsoft, if that's what it really takes to get a review code off you, you can keep them. I don't want them. Just get them day one on Game Pass. It's fine. Well, day 3, because we don't get day 1 games anymore on Game Pass. Well, day 2 to 5 as it works out now. Because day 1 games are finished on Game Pass, right? If you actually want day 1 games, you have to pay extra. But yeah, I'm not shilling for anyone. These are corporations that I make no money off. I get no benefit off. They just take my money. And seeing the shift in these content creators, especially on the exclusivity waveband, where everyone, you're not getting Forza, you're not getting Gears, you're not getting Halo, you're not getting this, you're not getting that. And then one by one, once those games started trickling like a domino and Papa Phil Spencer turned around and said exclusives are bad for the gaming industry, all of them changed tune overnight. All of them. Go into any stream and you'll see it. But I've maintained my point. Exclusives, good or bad, are good for consumers because developing for one platform will give you a better experience, a better polished game than developing for 10 platforms. Because at that point, not only is your resources spread out, you're developing for multiple SKUs and they all kind of have to work. So exclusives do have a place in this society. The only ones that don't believe they have a space in society generally are the Xbox fans. Why? Because Phil Spencer told them so. I don't know. What happened yesterday really triggered a nerve in me. It really made me snap. I sat down yesterday and I was really annoyed about it. I'm thankful to my mods for actually coming out of for coming in and cleaning it up straight away. And that person left immediately after my mods dealt with it. So massive thank you to my mods. But come on, you don't do that. I don't go into anyone else's stream and start advertising my stream or telling people in that stream to come to my stream. You don't do that, man. That is how you know that there is zero respect. There is zero respect between that content creation code. But they wouldn't do that to anyone else, right? They wouldn't do that to the Gazes or anyone else. Only to me. And this just goes back to the original point where a lot of the Xbox community, for some weird reason, have it out for me. And I know why. Because I don't shill like they do. I don't criticize everything like they do. Right? That's it. That is literally it. I mean, let me put it to you this way. All of these people are saying PlayStation have no games. They've got your games. They've got your games. They've got games. They're getting your games and they're getting their own games. Let that sink in. But this is why you guys get pissed off, right? You can't say it out in public because that might actually make Microsoft or Xbox upset. So you shill the way you shill for the sake of, you know, appearances. And the community lap it up. Anyway, I can continue with this for ages. But the bottom line is, I've had enough. So I've put my voice out. And it is what it is. But yesterday, you coming into my stream and doing what you did, that crossed the line. And since you guys are willing to cross that line and not give a shit, well, here is me not giving a shit and calling you all out for being the shills and fakes that you actually are. That's the video. Take it as you will.